Lennon on the Optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And on today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at the new Disney Mark I ARC Reactor Replica. Available exclusively at Disney Parks and online at shopdisney.com. Now, if you recall, I reviewed a lot of artifacts that were recently released by Disney, celebration of the whole Infinity Saga, where you could collect the different Infinity Stones, as well as the containers that they were found in. And those have been immensely popular. So it makes sense that Disney would go and do some other replicas, including one of the most iconic ones, the Mark I ARC Reactor, which was heavily featured in Iron Man 1 and was the last parting scene that we saw as the members of the Avengers said farewell to Tony Stark and Iron Man by placing this on a wreath that they set out on a lake. For the package though, much like those other artifacts that we saw, you had this really cool container looking sort of thing with a gorgeous image of the Mark I ARC Reactor right there. See Stark Industries, the top section here. Kind of looks like a little bit of a handle or like some type of locking mechanism. You got that kind of going all the way around. You got this really cool energy effect going on there. When you come around to the back of the box here, you can actually see the instructions. And this thing does a lot of really cool stuff, which I honestly did not expect. I mean, I expected it to look like this and basically light up and that be it. But there's definitely more to this, which if you're a cosplayer, you're gonna dig. But for the packaging on this, that's about it. So let's see how this one stacks up and get it out here and see how cool it actually is. Alright guys, so here we have the Disney version of the Mark I ARC Reactor Replica opened up and out of its packaging. And you know, I've taken a look at a lot of replicas over the years. Whether it be the Marvel franchise or even the Indiana Jones ones, which I've taken a look at recently, I've always been very impressed with them. One thing that is very common about prop replicas is typically they're very expensive. But also one thing that's very common is that the people that make the replicas license it from the company that actually owns it. So when you're buying it, it's kind of getting it from a third party, and you're paying for that licensing fee. With Disney, though, they don't have to do that, because they own the intellectual property for Marvel. Meaning that they can basically cut out that middleman and not have that extra cost associated with it. For example, some time ago, I took a look at a Mark I ARC Reactor replica that was basically 4 times this price, which is only $100 for this set. That's a huge difference. And you would think, with that difference, you would get a big difference in quality. And you do, but realistically, it's not that big of a deal. Starting off first, you do see you have this nice case. Now, one thing that I will point out is that when I did take a look at that other Mark I, one of my biggest complaints about it was the case itself. It was way too big. Now, getting this out of the way, one thing I'm just going to kind of show this. You do have this nice acrylic clear case. Obviously, you have the base that you can take this and put this over, and you have these groove sections that you can latch that in there. And now, this is 100% how I'm going to display it. But bringing in that other one for a comparison, this case is considerably larger, and by my recollection, inaccurately larger. The replica itself looks basically the same size. The case, though, way too big. If you go back and watch the movie, this is basically what Pepper gave to Tony as kind of a gift, and he held it in his hand, and this is definitely, in my opinion, more accurate to the size that it was in the film. The other thing that, I mean, obviously you can see this here, I kind of like the dark coloring of this. Now, this is still a great replica, but I think that this is absolutely serviceable. You don't need to pay that $400 or $500 or whatever to get this one when this is absolutely worth having. Again, the case here, you can see big size difference between the two. But let's take an actual closer look at the replica itself here on the inside. Now, the base, as you can see, is also much smaller. Come around here to the back, and you can see that you do have the wires going on here. You also have this. Now this one does, I do kind of like how this has that little separated section. This is like the piece that would have attached to the inside of him. And you know, I'm trying to remember if this actually lit up. I want to say that it does, but I don't remember if I actually put batteries in it or what. Now this does have a heavier weight, and this, you know, this does look good, and you can see that you just sit that in there and it just kind of sits there and everything like that, which you know works perfectly fine. This is all metal as well, whereas there's kind of like plastic in this. And I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, I totally was brain dead. So you do have a light up thing here. You twist this around, and this light, well, maybe, okay. And you can see that it does kind of light up. It's very bright in my review area, so you can definitely see that that does light up very nicely. I like it. I do kind of wish that these bits lit up around there, because they really should. Now, you can put that in there, and again, that looks great. It's really cool. But this one, though, just something about it is so much nicer. Now, I'm trying to feel like this, a lot of it feels like plastic. You can kind of adjust that forward and back. But one of the best aspects is, where'd that wire go? Here we go. All right, so one thing that's cool is you have this. Now, you can take this. I'm going to use this section right here. You're just going to plug this in. I'm going to set this off to the side and make sure that that's turned on, which it is. You can take this, come around here, and you have a plug-in section here. I absolutely love that because it allows you to put in this, and you got an on and off switch, and it allows you to actually activate this, turning it off so that you can see that turn on. Am I going to be able to do that? Come on. It's going to be tricky to do, but you can take that, and you can see, oh yeah, that you can see that that lights up very, very nicely. And then once again, turning it on, and boom. Now, I love that you can have this permanently plugged in because it creates a much better display piece. Like I said, I do like the light up on here. Let's turn my lights off here so you can get a good look at how these look with the lights off. There we go. And again, you can see I really love the way that this one looks. I mean, I like the light up feature on this. I really do. But I think that one just looks better. I love how the light actually goes through the outer sections as well, whereas this one really doesn't. And you can see that the light up on here continues on much like this. You can see that it still lights up. But realistically, you're not really going to be able to do much with this. So you just have it. It's going to always be out here. You just put it in here. It displays very nicely, and it's cool. But this thing does something that's really cool. And what that is this whole piece cannot remove. Unlike this one, which it can come out, as you could constantly keep seeing me do. But what this does is it can remove. It plugs in here. And once you plug it or take it out, you can see that it turns it off. And it turns that light off as well. And you have this section. And again, this is definitely lighter. There's not really a lot of metal in here. There is some weight to it. But what's cool is when you come around to the underside, you have this. This attaches. This is a magnet. So what you can do is put that there. So you can actually turn the switch on and bam, turn it back on without it being plugged in. Put this on your outer section of the shirt. Put this on the inner section of the shirt. And now you can walk around with this actually attached to your chest. Unlike this one, that basically is just it. As if you pulled it out of his chest or something like that. I love that. That is incredibly cool. One of the neatest aspects about the entire thing. Now you can see that the ARC reactor itself is a little bit bigger. But again, I feel like I feel like the size of this is pretty decent. Actually, it doesn't look all that bigger, realistically. I mean, like, it's not much bigger. What kind of makes it a little bit bigger is this outer section here around it. So, I guess in terms of the actual the reactor section, this bit, it's about the same size. Getting this kind of out there. This little ridge around here, which is not there, does kind of make it look a little bit bigger, but realistically, it's about the same kind of size, almost exactly the right size. It's just this outer ridge that makes it a little bit bigger, but honestly, it doesn't bother me all that much. It's not that big of a deal, to be totally honest with you. But then, well, also you got like the little connecting section right here, and that little post right there, that when you bring that in, you line it back up, and then it will light that up as well. So let's see if that actually, that gets on there. So you will want to make sure that you turn that off, but then putting that back on, and then make sure you line that up proper. That activates it again, and you can see that, like I said, this back section stays in there. So that's one of the aspects about that does make it kind of work. I mean, this really does, you know, still have a really cool aspect to it, but as I said, the one here is absolutely like serviceable, and I feel like this is what kind of plugs it in, so it kind of works out pretty good. I just absolutely love that. This one, cool. And honestly, like, this looks good. I do like the black that's in there. It looks a little bit bigger. I think that it stands out a little bit nicer, but the biggest thing is, like, this base is just way too oversized. It really is. And there is metal in that one. So again, that, you know, really kind of contributes to the price itself, but this is just absolutely gorgeous. And then, again, you bring in the case, put that over there, and that just feels more accurate to the film. I just think that is absolutely phenomenal. And like I said, you can take this, you can bring this. This is gonna, I don't want to knock things over, but you just bring that underneath here, and it actually clips in and locks into place, which is nice. So it stays under there perfectly. You guys know how big of an Iron Man fan I am. I am absolutely blown away by this. That other one that I had, and I keep saying the other one, and I don't remember the company that made it. That's why I keep calling it just the other one. But that one is great. Absolutely phenomenal. This, though, for $100 is, in my opinion, as good as that other one, and does something that the other one doesn't do, being that you can take that out and actually wear it and kind of cosplay with it. Now, I will say that because of the weight of it, it does kind of make it droop a little bit on your shirt. I realistically don't plan on going around and wearing it. I am going to display it just like this, with it plugged in with the rest of my Marvel replicas and such, but I'm really, really quite impressed. This is absolutely a Grand Slam home run. Now, as I mentioned before, this is a Disney Parks exclusive, so it is available at Walt Disney World, and has recently been made available here in California at Disney California Adventures Avengers Campus. But also, it is available on Shop Disney, so you don't have to go to a park to get it. You can get it through their website. If you'd like to add it to your collection, I'll put a link right down there in the video description, where you can swing on over and check out availability on this, as well as several other absolutely incredible prop replicas. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. As always, I want to thank you all so much for tuning in and watching. And until next time, this is Optibotimus saying adios, au revoir, and auf Wiedersehen.